वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोऽसियुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च शिरसां साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतां सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च अमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय गौराङ्गप्रेष्ठरूपिणे श्रीभक्तिविबुधाय वैवदायनिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिप्रमदाय पुरीगोस्वामी नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। नमो महावदनाय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिष्ठे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुतं देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। At first I offer my respectful obeisances to our Gurudev Srimad Bhakti Vibuddha Vardhan Goswami Maharaj. Please bless us and give us enough blessing by which I can understand the Harikatha today. After that I offer my respectful obeisances to all Guru Parampara and Parama Gurudev, and I also offer my respectful obeisances to the all assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Today we will try to understand Bhagavad Gita from chapter 9, and we will read first verse number. Continues and in this verse what Lord Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, that things we will try to understand today. And this verse is a very important verse in this chapter. And in Bhagavad Gita, the 9th chapter is very important. The knowledge given in this 9th chapter is very confidential knowledge, because in this chapter another devotional service is explained by Shri Krishna to Arjuna. That thing we will try to understand today. Now we will read the first verse, what Lord Shri Krishna says to Arjuna. That thing we will learn today. First verse. Shri Bhagavan Vacha idam tute gucchatamam prabhakshamanusuyave Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam Jatkata Mokshasya Subhat. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious to me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved by the miseries of material existence. Now we will try to understand the meaning of each Sanskrit word in this verse. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Idam, this too, but te, unto you Gujjatamam, the most confidential. Prabhakshami, I am speaking, Onashuave, the non-envious Jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge, Vijnanam, realized knowledge, Sahitam means with, Yat, which, Gatva, knowing, Moksha, which you will be released, or shubhat from this miserable material existence. That means in this verse, as a devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, he becomes more enlightened. That means a devotee when listens to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita and listen about the devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna, more the devotee listens about Lord Shri Krishna, more devotee becomes enlightened. And this hearing process, now we are following hearing process. In this process is very recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam also. The message of Supreme Personality of Godhead are full of potencies. That means if we understand the topics about Lord Shri Krishna, what about Lord Shri Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita or Chaitanya Charitamrita or others devotional literature, from the devotional scripture, then we will get enough potency, and by getting that potency we will serve more Lord Shri Krishna more. The message of Supreme Personality of Godhead, that means what Lord Shri Krishna says or what about Lord Shri Krishna says. This kind of message is full of potencies, and potency can be realized. This potency will not be realized by everyone. This kind of potency will be realized by only the devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. Without becoming a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, the potency, the spiritual potency cannot be realized properly. That means for this we have to, for understanding Bhagavad Gita or any another kind of devotional scripture, we have to first surrender to Lord Shri Krishna. Without surrendering or without becoming a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, the knowledge, understanding this knowledge is not possible. The message are full of potency, and potency can be realized with the topic regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead discussed among devotees. That means if a devotee explains about what Lord Shri Krishna or what Lord Shri Krishna says, that things will be understand by if understand the another devotee, then this kind of knowledge will be very potent. And this cannot be achieved by association of the mental speculators. That means if the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if we try to understand from a mental speculator or any academic scholar, then this knowledge will not be totally realized. That means if we try to understand this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from the mental speculator or academic scholar, then we will not get the actual benefits of studying Bhagavad Gita or understanding Bhagavad Gita. That means our spiritual potency, whatever spiritual potency is in Harikatha, that things will not be found if the Bhagavad Gita is explained by mental speculator or any another academic scholar who are not devotee of Lord Shri Krishna or who are envious to Lord Shri Krishna. If anyone is envious to Lord Shri Krishna, that person cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. So we have to be a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna for understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, we never understand the Bhagavad Gita properly. And because this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita should be realized by the reader. Without realization, just if we do mental speculation, then this knowledge is not actually beneficial. The devotees are constantly engaged in Supreme Lord's devotional service. That means a devotee, what they do only devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna. Whatever activity done in their life, in every day, that is related to Shri Krishna. What if they eat, or they cooking, or if they do any kind of business, that kind of things is also for Lord Shri Krishna. And these things also help them to be a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. The Lord understands the mentality. That means as a devotee engages every time to devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna, similarly Lord Shri Krishna also understands what is the mentality of the devotee, and the Lord Shri Krishna also understands how that devotee is sincere, and this mentality and sincerity of that devotee, particularly living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness, gives the intelligence. That means Lord Shri Krishna understands the mentality of a devotee and the sincerity of the devotee. And understanding this, Lord Shri Krishna gives that devotee enough intelligence. By this intelligence, that devotee can understand Lord Shri Krishna properly, and the spiritual potential comes on the devotee. Without a mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, we cannot understand Lord Shri Krishna, because Lord Shri Krishna is not limited by our mental speculation. Lord Shri Krishna is omnipotent, omniscient. That's why we cannot understand Lord Shri Krishna by our only endeavor. We have to depend on Lord Shri Krishna. If Lord Shri Krishna gives us enough mercy, then we can understand Lord Shri Krishna properly. Discussion of Krishna is very important, and if a fortunate person, that means now we are discussing about what Lord Shri Krishna says to Bhagavad, says to Arjuna. That means this kind of message is very important. And in this message there is spiritual potential. If we try to understand this potential, then we will be a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, and we will also always serve Lord Shri Krishna always. And if a person gets association of a devotee and tries to assimilate the knowledge what Lord Shri Krishna says, or what about Lord Shri Krishna, that kind of knowledge, if that person tries to assimilate, then he will surely make advancement. That means if they at least try to understand in the way the devotees try to understand, then that person will also be advanced in spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Krishna to Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, described in the 9th chapter, the matter of more confidential knowledge. That means now in this chapter we will get the most confidential knowledge about devotional service, and this is the essence. This chapter is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and he has already disclosed at the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. If we read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is just an introduction of the rest of the book. That means this Bhagavad Gita is 18th chapter book, and first chapter is just introduction, and second and third chapter the spiritual knowledge is described as confidential knowledge, just a confidential knowledge. And topic discussed in 7th and 8th chapter, this knowledge which is discussed in chapter 7th and 8th, that knowledge is called more confidential knowledge. And this chapter, now we are studying chapter number 9. This chapter contains the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. What is the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is the devotional service to Shri Krishna. This is the most confidential knowledge. The topic discussed in and similarly related to devotional service, because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness. That means if we study this chapter, we will be enlightened and about Krishna consciousness. I mean, whatever Krishna consciousness is in dormant stage in our heart, that will be fortified. That will be, and this way we will also be a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. And this is called, but the matter which are discussed in the 9th chapter is unalloyed. In this chapter, devotional service, whatever is discovered, that is unalloyed and pure devotion. Only pure devotion is described in this chapter. Therefore, this chapter is called most confidential chapter. One who is situated in the most confidential knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. That means if anyone tries to understand this most confidential knowledge, then that person will be transcendental person. He therefore has no material pains. That means all kind of material contamination in our heart will be destroyed. And although we are staying in this material world, that means in this life all kind of material contamination in our heart will be totally vanquished if we try to understand this confidential knowledge. And understanding this, we will be a devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, pure devotee. And this is the main aim in this life. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that although one who has sincere desire to render loving service to the Supreme Lord is situated in the conditional state of material existence, he is said to be considered liberated. That means if we stay in this material world, but if we try to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual knowledge, then we will be called as liberated person. That means we are free from this material bondage. This material world, these living entities are bondage by the Maya Shakti of Maya. That means if we try to understand this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or Chaitanya Charitamrita or others devotional literature, then if we properly understand the things, and if we do our activity in according to that knowledge, then we will be liberated person. Similarly, we shall find in the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter. That means now we are studying 9th chapter. When we study the 9th, 10th chapter, that anyone who is engaged in that way is called liberated person. That means whatever way that Lord Shri Krishna says, that things if we follow, we will be a liberated person. Now this verse has specific significance. So that means the first verse has there is a huge deep meaning of this verse. In this word idam jnanam, that means this knowledge. Idam jnanam means that this knowledge refers to pure devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna, which is consist of 9 different activities. That means devotional service, there is 9 ways of devotional service. First way is hearing, then chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, and maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. These are the 9 devotional service, different activity in devotional service. By practicing of these 9 elements of devotional service, this kind of 9 elements of devotional service, if we practice properly, then what we will do? Then one is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. When one is hurt in this clear of material contamination, one can understand this science of Krishna. That means if one's heart is clear, that means in our heart there is various kind of material contamination, and if our material contamination is clear, one can understand this science of Krishna's. If our heart is clean, if our heart all kind of material contamination is cleaned, then we can understand the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, or the spiritual realization is possible. And Krishna, one is heart is clear to the science, then we can understand science of Krishna. That means without cleaning our contamination in our heart, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita or science of Krishna. Simply to understand that a living entity is not material is not sufficient. That means we are not this body, this kind of things. Just understanding or knowing this thing is not enough. That may be beginning of spiritual knowledge. That means this is the first step of our spiritual realization. But one should recognize the difference between activities of the body. That means whatever the duties we have to do in this kind of things, we have to understand, and spiritual activity, and what is the material activity and what is the spiritual activity, we have to also understand. And one who understands that he is not this body, and this is the beginning of spiritual knowledge, and we have to understand what spiritual activity, and understanding that things we have to do spiritual activity also, and this spiritual activity or devotional service leads us to Lord Shri Krishna. Then after quitting this material body we will reach the abode of Lord Shri Krishna, the Golok of Vrindavan. In 7th chapter, we have already discussed the opulent potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means in the 7th chapter, we understand that what are the opulent potencies of Lord Shri Krishna and his different energies, and what are the main energies of Lord Shri Krishna. Then there is inferior energies and superior energies. This material world is maintained by inferior energies of Lord Shri Krishna. That means for a Shakti, and the spiritual world is maintained by the superior energy. That means Para Shakti and Apara Shakti, that things. And all this material manifestation. Now in this chapter 9 and in the glories of the Lord will be delineated. That means what are the glorification of Lord Shri Krishna, that will be described in this chapter. The Sanskrit word Anushwa, the Anushwara word is very important, and in this verse, generally the commentators even they are highly scholar. That means in this material world there are in this world there are various types of Bhagavad Gita's commentators, and this commentator may be very highly scholar, and, but if they are envious to Lord Shri Krishna, then their commentary on Bhagavad Gita is not good. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even the most erudite scholar write on Bhagavad Gita very inaccurately. That means if in their heart there is envious to Lord Shri Krishna, then their commentary is not actually beneficial to us, because we want to be devotee of Lord Shri Krishna or devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna. We have to avoid that kind of commentary. Their commentary, because then the commentary given by devotee of the Lord Shri Krishna is bona fide. That means whatever the devotee of Lord Shri Krishna says, that things we have to understand, and if that is very beneficial. Otherwise, the erudite scholar, if they are envious to Lord Shri Krishna, that things is not to be read actually, or listen. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. That means envious, if in their heart enviousness is not destroyed, then that their knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is not perfect. That means if anyone is envious to Lord Shri Krishna, then their commentary we should avoid. And one who criticizes the character of Lord Shri Krishna without knowing him, his soul. That means if anyone criticizes to Lord Shri Krishna the character of Lord Shri Krishna, then that person may be very erudite scholar, but that person is full in terms of spiritual knowledge. So such commentary we should avoid very carefully. Without avoiding that kind of commentary, our devotional life will be spoiled. That's why we have to avoid that kind of commentary. For one who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if anyone try to understand Lord Shri Krishna, what he is, that is Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the pure and transcendental personality, and another characteristics of Lord Shri Krishna is his pure and transcendental personality. In this way, if anyone try to understand Lord Shri Krishna, then this 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is very beneficial. So we have to understand this Bhagavad Gita and this 9th chapter very seriously. And because in this chapter the pure devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna is described, and if we understand this kind of knowledge very clearly, then we will serve Lord Shri Krishna in pure way. All kind of material contamination in our heart will be destroyed. So this is for today. From next day we will try to understand the next verse of Bhagavad Gita. Now we will do one kirtan. Hare Namo Krishna Jadavaya Namo Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namo Gopala Govindaram Shri Madhushadan Giridhari Gopinath Madanamahan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath এই ছয় গোসাই করি চরণ বন্দন যাহা হইতে বিঘ্ন নাশ অভীষ্ট পূরণ এই ছয় গোসাই যার মই তার দাস তা সবার পদরে নমার পঞ্চগ্রাস তাদের চরণ সেবী ভক্ত সনিবাস জনমী জনমে হয় এই অভিলাষ এই ছয় গোসাই যবে ব্রজে কৈলাবাস রাধা কৃষ্ণ নিত্য লীলা করিলা প্রকাশ আনন্দে বল হরি ভজ বৃন্দাবন শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণব পদে মজাইয়া মন শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণব পদ পদ্ম করিয়াস নাম সংকীর্তন করে নরোত্তম দাস হরে কৃষ্ণ Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol